Hey, everybody. You're going to want to listen all the way through this episode because we're talking about Alex Van Halen's new memoir. It really dives into the brotherhood of the band and certainly the brotherhood of, well, him and his brother. That's why the book's called Brothers. So we'll talk about that and a bunch more.
And you're also going to find out about two amazing, iconic female hip-hop stars who have just received an amazing award that is basically the top award you could ever hope to get if you live in the United States of America. Enjoy the show, everyone.
We're back! I know what you're thinking, too. I'm wearing the same shirt as last time. I do laundry, you know.
I appreciate it. I think it's because you like that we talked about your cleavage last week.
Maybe it is because of that.
Yeah, you're subliminally getting ready for those OnlyFans.
It's oh God, that's weird. It's also getting colder where we are, so don't mind me while I put my hoodie on.
Yeah, it's true.
Shameless plug for where I work.
I love it.
Ba.
And Sharon, tell everyone how long you've been part of Shom.
Oh, I just celebrated my anniversary a couple of weeks ago, and it's been 28 years.
Oh, girl.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It was, I've been 30 years in radio. I know you're thinking, she's so youthful.
She is 12.
I started in kindergarten. I was a gifted child.
Yeah.
Master mixer, things like that. Anyways, 30 years in radio and 28 at Shom here in Montreal.
Congratulations,
so, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
I'm glad you actually have an anniversary date because I don't know when mine is because
contracts.
Pardon?
Because of contracts?
Contracts and more like because I was on my station but first as like a traffic reporter.
Oh yeah.
And so like, so I had to start there, but then then was doing, then I got my show and then my show has moved around, all that stuff. So I think December 7th is like technically when I got my first show.
Oh, cool.
So of 2007. So I guess
that makes sense when you think about it, right? That they would have needed help heading into the holidays. So they wanted to lock you down.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's been a minute. And actually, no, it's crazy. I forgot to tell you this. The Kelly Alexander Show, the other podcast that you're also a part of.
Yeah.
I should have sent you a note because we just celebrated our 15th anniversary.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Good for you. Congratulations. You do a great job with that.
Thank you.
We are just very self-congratulating today. Hey, what else did you do that's great? Let me tell you. What we can tell you about the show today is how Christina Aguilera is just like us, prone to breaking body parts.
Okay.
Also, since we promised last show that we would do Tears for Fears info and certainly how they saw their future versus how it actually turned out, we'll talk about that. We've got Kelly's trivia to mess with our marbles a little bit. Your 90s rewind will take us back to 1993. And Alex Van Halen, the quieter member of the band that bears his family name. And it's ironic that he's quiet since he's such a bombastic and skilled drummer. He has released his memoir. So I figure let's start there. The book is called Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Good timing because it's available now. And yes, we are heading into the holidays, and no, it's not too soon to say that. He's given some real insight into the band experience, his perspective on what it was like to be in a band with his brother at the, reaching incredible heights of stardom and success and excess, which we sort of tapped into in the last show about how that can be problematic for young people. And at the time, and in his book, the approach was if two's good, 20's better.
Yeah.
And that, he said, that was our mantra. So when it came to, feeling good, feeling better, I mean, he said that even his brother Eddie, according to Alex, he would take more than his prescribed dosage of medicine toward the end of his life because it made him feel like Superman. So there's a lot going on in this book,
Mhm.
which interestingly only goes up to 1984. Like it certainly covers their whole life because they're brothers, and their whole coming to the States and trying to fit in and figuring out their childhood and figuring out their, what they wanted to do musically. And it ends with the original Van Halen lineup, which is interesting. 1984, the year and the album. And then David Lee Roth leaves the band and Sammy Hagar joins the band. They get another, I think, same number of albums that they got with Dave. So they had a career that carried on until they, and they toured up until Eddie couldn't. I just thought a lot of what Alex had to say about his brother, and I've heard a few quotes from it, but I love the idea that he said, and I'll quote it, "We shared the experience of coming to this country and figuring out how to fit in. We shared a record player, an 800 square foot house, a mom and dad, and a work ethic. Later, we shared the back of a tour bus, alcoholism, the experience of becoming successful, of becoming fathers and uncles, and of spending more hours in the studio than I've spent doing anything else in this life. We shared a depth of understanding that most people can only hope to achieve in a lifetime." End quote. Even if it were just that. But if that's an indication of what this book is like, I think music fans or fans of books, period, will be they'll find something in this book. Certainly fans of the band, obviously, but it sounds like he'll be able to tell a great story, and certainly theirs was great.
Will you read this book, Sharon?
Are there pictures in it? I'm just kidding. I might actually. I like the idea of the the silent dude in the back who's making the most noise, but the drummer sees everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Everything.
A lot of butts too, because he's behind everybody. But how about you? Do you think you'd read a book like this? You read Slash's book and Duff's book from Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, and Duff, right? I think told you. Yeah. I've read Nikki Sixx's books.
There you go.
I'm very. It's funny, like, as we all know, Kelly is not like a rock superstar, but I do appreciate a lot of their stories. And like, there's certain things I think I was very fascinated. I think when it comes to Guns N' Roses, I was just fascinated that with the amount of drugs that was going on, that they were actually able to be productive. Like it's mind boggling to me. So,
and certainly at a point they weren't.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but I've pretty much like I always try to read like music memoirs if I can, like, especially like a lot of rock people. It's funny, as much as I love hip hop and stuff, I don't think I've read as many as I have from the rock realm. I guess I'm just like, I for some reason, but I'm also drawn to watching serial killer things on TV. So who knows?
And I have to say that's unsettling.
Yeah. Good thing not assume, Sharon.
I can point to this in my background here. I've read most of those.
Okay, good job, Sharon.
And then there's other ones that still have to be read.
Yeah. Listening to the show right now, please watch this episode so you can watch Sharon point.
Oh, I'm very, very talented.
Yeah. I'm trying to go, Sharon.
No, I was going to jump to the next thing, but go ahead.
No, actually, you know what? Just quickly though, I would love to get a book out of Missy Elliott.
Ooh.
And a Queen Latifah. That would be great.
Yeah. They're so busy though. They don't have time to sit down and write a book. They just don't.
Yeah. They're also winning awards though, which we quickly shout them out. They just got the National Medal of the Arts, which if I can remember correctly is the highest honor for an art, like a musician, I guess, or artist in the States to get.
That's cool.
So congratulations.
That's very good. I like that they got it when everything's calm. Ish.
Yeah. And I like that they got it together. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Neato. Okay, so we're going to talk about Tears for Fears in a bit, but we're going to do trivia first.
Where's that sound effect that you normally do? Yeah, okay. So we're actually on the last question of both cards. So do I surprise you which one I'll start with this week, or let you?
Sure.
Okay. We'll start with hobbies, toys, and games. Which cool construction toy was launched in 1992? Which cool construction toy was launched in 1992?
Cool construction toy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Fisher Price drill set.
I've
No.
never heard of it. K apostrophe NEX connects.
Oh, Connects, of course. I know that one.
Do you
I
really?
do.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah. It was like if memory serves, it's kind of like Tinker Toys were. I think you
Oh,
connect things and you could build stuff.
is it because you have nephews?
Yes.
Perfect. That makes sense.
Yes. Don't be unsettled by the fact that I know toys,
Yeah.
said the creepy lady.
The creepy lady likes to watch serial killer shows.
Eh,
You're not fascinated by that stuff at all, Sharon?
at all. No, I can't unsee it
Right.
once I see it. And that's a problem. I don't want that in my head.
I mean, I don't really like, I don't like any gore stuff, but I guess, I don't know, like I'm just, I guess I'm fascinated by serial killers and the fact that it always seems like they can compartmentalize and like lead a normal life and then not.
Yeah.
It's
That's
really
what happens though. Something's got to give. And at this
like,
point in my life, if I see something like that, that's got something's going to give, and I'm not going to be able to forget it.
news and politics, Sharon.
Oh,
In
good.
1999, members of the International Olympic Committee faced expulsion following an inquiry into what?
Um, sex, sex on the
No.
no, I was going to say misbehaving like in the Olympic Village.
They just put bribery allegations.
So not sex.
No.
No.
Here's a question. Do you say inquiry or inquiry?
Inquiry.
That's what I say also. Back to you, Sharon.
Fantastic.
You're welcome. Is sex on
Well,
the beach still a drink? Do people make that?
oh, they don't stop making drinks, Cal.
I know, but
I
like
d-
I haven't heard that as a thing like since the 90's.
well, you got to get back to the clubs because I think they're just drinking and
So you could
sexing
like
on the
legit go to a
beach.
bar. You could go to a bar in this day and age and be like, I want a sex on the beach.
Yeah, and there's no guarantee you're going to get it. And here's why I know that. I can tell you just because I'm stepping in on what Adam normally takes care for us. Sex on the beach, alcoholic cocktail containing vodka, peach schnapps. Don't do it. Orange juice and cranberry juice. So it's nice. It's a pleasant drink.
Yeah.
Peach schnapps will take you out.
Really?
Sounds like a fun thing to do. Oh, let's get some schnapps. Let's not.
That's not.
Because you always have too much. Because it's so sweet. And you're like, oh, this is nice. And you have it and you have it and you have it and then you lose it.
Oh boy.
So here's the thing. I was at a lunch a couple of months ago. And no, but my sister ordered a rye and ginger.
What's that? Oh, rye and okay, yep.
Well, yes, thank you for acting that out. Unknowingly, when my sister ordered that, the waitress said in this restaurant that we went to, I'll see if he knows how to make that. It's rye and ginger ale. I don't know. Like, I think that's after vodka and orange juice. Do you know? It was so maybe ordering sex on the beach, you might need to bring your own recipe to remind them how to do it. Like, I've lost all the faith I ever had in this strange waitress. Okay, so Tears for Fears and how they saw their future. Certainly they came up in the early 80s and then did amazing and then continued into the 90s and then continued within the past few years. They've toured a couple of times, come to us at least 3, which is amazing. And I saw them the first time they came back to Montreal and it was incredible. It was like the missing piece of concerts that I didn't get to see when they were first out and I was 15, 16. So that was amazing. But as far as what they had planned for themselves when they first started out was definitely not performing live. And they are very good at it, but legit, they're like, nope, that's not what we want. Thanks anyways, but no thanks, which I found compelling.
Yeah, because they have the X factor to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I thought that was an interesting take on what the heck.
When you hear the group name Tears for Fears, do you automatically because like
start crying? Yes.
Yeah. What automatically pops into my head is them, and then you know when someone says like, I'm going to say a word and you tell me what you think of next. So if
Oh
like
yeah,
apple, banana, whatever, like
right.
when you say Tears for Fears, I'm like, oh, and also Depeche Mode.
Yes, same time.
Yeah.
For sure. And both important bands with regard to, and I would say especially Depeche Mode when it came to their influence on EDM.
Yes.
I would say it's not a big leap, but it certainly covers a great, it marks the start and where you get to now on how successful DJs are and filling arenas with that kind of a dance beat rhythm of, consecutive. I think Tears. I think that Depeche Mode is certainly responsible for pioneering that rage.
Yes. And I also had a mad crush on Dave Gahan.
Well, he's got swagger,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Yeah. As
Yeah,
a little
there.
gay girl, I loved him. Didn't know I was gay yet, but had a crush on Dave Gahan. So
I was confused, she says.
maybe it's because he had long hair. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah,
I also like when Rick Astley had the 1993 long hair. Remember?
I didn't.
Oh, I thought he was cute.
I like clean cut Rick Astley.
Yeah. Well, he was still clean cut, but he had long hair. It was nice.
I'm opposed to it.
Okay. Like Adam growing his hair. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen Adam actually. I guess I've been leaving work on time that I haven't seen him, but I've
Maybe.
certainly we miss him on this show, that's for sure, because he takes care of us very nicely. Ben, and he's been doing that technically behind the scenes, working his magic for us. So thank you, Adam. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so that was the big that was the big reveal on Tears for Fears from last show. We'll save it for the next show, we said. But they've obviously done well for themselves and continue to do that. And I love that there's that connection with the past, but also an interest in moving forward. I think we talk about that a lot with our favorite artists. So we are fortunate, Kelly.
Yep.
I don't know how to get out of the screen. I've never been here locked like
I
this.
thought you
Anyways,
were
okay,
like,
so
time for a 90s rewind. I was like,
I'm
well, let's
like,
do
wait a minute, I can't. Anyways, we're getting closer to a 90s rewind, but before that, we talked about how Christina Aguilera is as human as the rest of us with her old body parts. Seems she's messed up her knee, and it's come down to the fact that she performed all those years in heels.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It does make sense, and it's an interesting thing that no matter what your career choice is, for people of a certain age like us and Christina, heels were a definite consideration. Like, and I think I'm not sure if it's less so now. I think I'd be ignorant in saying that. I think where I am in my life, heels are less so. But when it comes to performing and stuff like that, I think you want to show off the bling, you want to make your outfit pop and stuff like that, but it's hard.
Yeah.
It's like running in decent shoes is still hard on your body.
Yes.
But running around a stage in, 5-6 inch heels is also very hard on your body. Now, is it knees that she knocked out?
Uh, it was at her back. I'm now not
Probably
remembering.
both.
But it's funny that you mentioned that because I've actually like been, I don't know what the word would be. Concerned sounds a bit too crazy, but like Beyonce, because she's often going around in whatever, like these platform boots or like high heels or whatever. And like, and
Yep.
because, she did all those years in Destiny's Child first. And now, I mean, it's not like she's out touring every 2 minutes, but there's a lot going on and there's other artists too. And like, what's funny is as soon as you were talking about the Christina thing, we had spoke about this years ago. And I think in a roundabout way, again, we don't know the full reason why Prince was on drugs, but he was in pain because of it had been mentioned, I think, from him running around the stage so often in heeled boots and jumping
Yeah.
and landing and all that, because he was on like pain meds, right? And I don't know if that,
Yeah.
and again, I'm completely guessing here, but it just sounds like that probably progressed into him having a dependency on the drugs he was on. So,
Well, for sure. And then you think when it comes to replacing something like a knee,
mm,
first of all, they only last so long when you get a new knee.
yeah,
So you want to gauge it, you want to make it last as long as possible so that you're not having to get another new one and you're 75 all of a sudden.
yeah,
Um, But I totally lost my train of thought there because I was picturing Prince with his little boots.
Yep.
He was so gifted. But yeah, to think that you're bouncing around like that and you're maybe getting a cortisone shot, or you're just, you can't take time off the road, right?
Yep.
If you're busy, if you've released an album, if you've got a tour schedule,
Yep.
a knee replacement, you're looking at weeks of rehab. And then you got to slowly, progressively return to your life.
Yep.
So yeah, that's why they put those things off, and that's why they medicate and then self-medicate after that.
How many artists, whether it's musicians or actors, do we know that have got hooked on whatever because they have a back injury or they have whatever and they needed it to get better, they were prescribed it, and then they got hooked? Because opioids, you're getting hooked
Yeah.
fast,
Yeah, right away.
real fast.
Yeah, it's a lovely feeling to be pain-free, right?
Yeah.
And then you probably say, I'll just have a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, the access to those kinds of drugs here in Canada, not easy to get.
Mhm.
It really isn't. Like, you can't get a prescription for stuff like that, for an opioid, for nothing.
Yeah.
They're not over giving pills.
Yeah. And
So
actually, as we come up, right around this time, we're basically at the year of Matthew Perry, right? His passing.
yeah,
And so, and obviously he had the alcohol problem, but then didn't he have a back injury? That's how he got hooked on.
yep,
Yeah, it's crazy.
yep. It was a knee, by the way, for Christina.
Okay.
Yes. What was she saying? Because she was in a conversation with Ray, who I love.
I love Ray. Oh my God. So
She's
good.
awesome.
Ray with an E.
Yep. What was her advice? She said, I mean, even the fact that she sings barefoot, I've already effed up my legs and my feet so bad with all this high heel nonsense. She says, I effed up the cartilage in my knee. I love that about you, though, to Ray, that she's barefoot.
Yep. Go girl.
Pretty smart.
I think there's a famous, is it Cesaria Evora? There's like a famous jazz artist, I believe, who also would sing in her bare feet. I think it's her. I could be wrong, but
There's a lot of them. Ian Gillan of Deep Purple does
oh, I didn't
also,
know that. Okay.
and for quite a few years. So,
We should try that at the radio station to do our shows.
hey, man, we work with boys.
I would
I'm
never
not
know.
walking barefoot anywhere. No.
Nope.
No
No.
offense to all the boys that are listening to our podcast, but
Yeah. And I mean, you and I both Lysol wipe down the mixing boards also in our studio.
yeah, long before there was a pandemic, we were wiping stuff down. So,
Yeah. I'm convinced
anywho,
I got a stomach flu once off of sharing. Because like as radio announcers, you don't have your own computer. You're sharing, you're in
yeah,
the studio. I'm
yep.
pretty sure I got a stomach flu from sharing the traffic booth, actually.
The germs just sitting there waiting to jump up your nose. Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, with that in mind, you want some meatloaf? You want some meatloaf with your flu bug?
Yeah.
We're going to do a 90s rewind to take us back to 1993, which, interesting, we know is the golden year of hip hop, right?
Yep.
But Meatloaf was nearing the top of the charts with the I'd do anything for love, but I won't do that.
He wouldn't Lysol wipe his microphone stand.
No, he would not. He was very tongue-in-cheeky with all that stuff. Similarly, tongue-in-cheeky, All That She Wants from Ace of Base.
It's a
She
baby.
just wanted another baby. Not the kind that come when you have a long-time relationship. She wanted another man. All that she wants is another baby? It's such a strange song when you analyze it and
Yep.
sort of take it apart, which I love to do.
Yep.
Quite simply, though, from Jeanne, hey, Mr. DJ, keep playing that song.
I love that song.
They were so cool.
That's one of those songs where you hear that song immediately, you're back 1993. Immediately.
Yes. You're in like a lounge, you're wearing a turtleneck. Come on. You know you were. SWV sampling Human Nature with Right Here. Love that song. How about if we were to put ourselves in the clubs, and why wouldn't we? It was 1993. And Hadaway, What is Love?
Very good. Very good.
It's a good question when you're dancing to it in the clubs, because you start to say, well, maybe it doesn't have to be love. Winky winks. Janet Jackson was doing her thing on If.
Yep.
You knew that. And then a couple of ballads to make sure that you stayed on the dance floor. One from Toni Braxton with another sad love song. And Two Steps Behind with Def Leppard. Yeah, that was more than a handful of songs, but this was an exceptional year for music, and all of these were in the top 20 around this time in 1993. Oh, that was your 90s rewind.
Good job, Sharon. By the way, just because you mentioned If, I just need to give a quick shout out to Tina Landon, good friend of ours on the show.
She's the goods.
She's the good. She actually just texted me yesterday, and I'm not trying to, like, I don't know how to say this other than I'm not trying to brag by any stretch. It was just, she sent me text. She's like, "Hey Cal, just wanted to check in, send you some love." Like, made my day. Like,
You are friends with Tina Landon.
it's just like, but it was funny because I was having a bit of a day yesterday, and it was like the universe knew I needed a text.
Nice.
So it was a conduit through Tina Landon. It was great.
Does Tina Landon know that she's Tina Landon?
She does not. Like, she's so humble. And it's funny because any of this, you know, like, as you know, Sharon, and as I think a lot of our listeners and viewers now know, because I've interviewed so many dancers that either work for Janet or around Janet or even just are in the industry, so many of them have such amazing accolades behind them and achievements, but they're extremely humble.
Yeah.
Extremely. And she is very much so, because I'm like, "Do you know you're Tina effing Landon?" And she's like, "Oh," like, she doesn't get it, but she's and it's weird because when I give her praise, especially when we were doing our show together, Just Dance, like, she can't handle it. Like, she cannot handle, like, other, because like a lot of the guests would be like, "Tina, like, I watching you do If, like, made me want to be a dancer," or whatever it was. And
Wow.
it'd be like, "So the next question," and so
That's awesome. Good
but
for
I'm
her.
so glad she was able to get her flowers because she's earned them. She's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You, Landon. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sharon met her when she came here. It was
I
great.
did.
Yeah.
Like sitting beside it going, that's Tina Landon
Yeah.
in the videos.
Yeah. And for anybody who doesn't know her, please just Google her. And just a quick point. She choreographed the many things, but I suppose the biggest one on the planet is she did Scream for Janet and Michael Jackson.
Yeah, you've seen her for sure. And you'll be surprised if, like Kelly said, if you're unfamiliar with her name, all the work that she's done. Very impressive.
Including Christina Aguilera, because she did Come On Over, What a Girl Wants, I believe. Like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. She did Britney Spears' Oops, I Did It Again. She did
See?
Rihanna's Umbrella. She's worked with, oh my God, why am I forgetting the name? Aerosmith, Tina Turner. The list goes on.
See, the list goes on. Even though Kelly gave you the highlight reel, still go and Google her and find out the list and how it goes on.
Yep.
That's it for us, Kel.
That's it.
All right. Bye. Just kidding. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We appreciate it. Thanks for finding us wherever it is that you do and passing it on to all of your friends.
All of them.
All of them. Thanks, Brazil. And have a great rest of your day, whatever you got going on. Thank you for listening to 90s Now, Still Happening.